All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Urban Spokesman. My name is Chris Sanders, and I'm giving micromobility users the news they need to stay up to speed on micromobility and urban infrastructure in New York. So today we have, yesterday, we have Sean Duffy threatening the MTA, threatening them, saying that the MTA and New York State should end the congestion pricing program in New York City. Otherwise, he plans to cut funding for New York. That's right. He wants to cut money from New York, even though New York is paying the most taxes to the federal government, financially supporting every other state, financially supporting every other state again, financially supporting every other state. So this is what he wants to do. This is what he claims he wants to do. And it's like, I don't know if Trump wants to let him do that. Why would Trump shoot himself in the foot? Like, right on time. Here's the other shoe. Federal Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy threatened via a letter rife with falsehoods about the MTA to withhold federal funds for unspecified highway projects in Manhattan and eventually the entire state of New York if Governor Hochul does not turn off the congestion pricing cameras on May 21st or by May 21st. The letter was sent on Monday, so yesterday, the day after the MTA ignored the secretary's second fake deadline to end the federally approved tolling program. So, in the letter, Duffy set the third deadline for New York State to end congestion pricing, or this time, his U.S. DOT won't approve any construction projects or projects that require environmental review, as well as hold up some of the funding requested by the New York Metropolitan Transportation Council. Duffy also threatened to extend the holdup beyond Manhattan to stop projects in New York City or even all of New York State. The latest letter from Duffy comes after the transportation secretary has twice tried to end the congestion pricing by fiat, first in February, then in March. Duffy sent letters to Governor Hochul informing her that he unilaterally decided to cancel the federal agreement that allowed congestion pricing to happen in the first place. In response to each letter, Hochul has insisted that congestion pricing was going to continue. Yes, she did. She said, Governor Hochul said, the cameras are staying on, and we loved it. That's right. Congestion pricing has not only lowered traffic, improved air quality, and increased the number of people walking around and using the public transportation and city bike in New York City. It has cut traffic. Oh, I can't tell you what a relief it is that I can't tell you what a relief it is that congestion pricing has so effectively cut traffic. Oh my God. In the central business district in Manhattan, the traffic was out of control. It was like gridlock everywhere. 35th Street, 36th Street, 29th Street. I mean, Fifth Avenue, 34th Street is always gridlocked, but less so now. And like, it was just insane. And when I say it was insane, I mean truly incredible. Like, I'm just like, normally that type of gridlock is only reserved for highways and not city streets. But in New York City, it's on city streets because everybody from Connecticut and New Jersey and far out in Long Island somewhere, they think they own New York City, but they don't own New York City. They come here to make their money, to entertain themselves, and then go back home. So they are here to grift and entertain themselves, but with providing very little to New York City. And so New York City says, look, we understand you want to work here and play here and spend your money here occasionally. Great. But, we prefer that you take the train or public transportation, or carpool, because carpooling is obviously cheaper than congestion pricing. New York's like no one person per car scenario. So look, the roads in New York City have to be paved over and over again. You should come out here and see these roads, guys. You should come out here and see these roads. They're a hot mess. And a lot of times the funding that would otherwise could be used for the MTA ends up having to go for the roads. Well, congestion pricing will lower the amount of traffic on the roads, which will let them stay, which will let them, be useful for longer. Then we'll have to do maintenance on them as much. Also, it'll allow delivery drivers to deliver the food and deliver the products. The products, yes, delivering the products to the people, to the people who come here, to the people who live here. Look, and then the emergency vehicles, they got to be able to get through. The police, the fire department, people say they're pro police, pro emergency vehicles and all that, pro safety. And then they're blocking them in traffic. They're blocking the emergency vehicles from being even able to do their job in traffic. Well, congestion pricing is help fix that problem. And Sean Duffy is just getting in the way. He needs to stay out of it. Look, sometimes you're wrong, and sometimes it's okay to admit that you're wrong. He's wrong in this case. He should just admit it. It's popular in New York State. Even Kathy Hochul's approval rating went up in New York State. She used to have -10 approval. Approval. Favorability. She used to have -10 favorability. Her approval was in the toilet. Now she's +1 favorability since congestion pricing. Good for her. She deserves it. She stuck up for it. And that's what we love to see. Leadership. Oh, Kathy Hochul's leadership. Love it. Love it. That's right. I love it. I love it. Go, girl. All right. Yes, I am yes queening Kathy for congestion pricing. Yes, queen. Yes. So, in any case, we need to push. Look, I don't even think Trump is really pushing back that hard. I think Sean Duffy is just getting cucked here by Kathy Hochul because he doesn't really have any power or authority or influence. And look, he shouldn't in this case. Leave it up to the states. That's what Trump wanted. Leave it up to the states. Okay, well, let's put your money where your mouth is. I mean, put your money where your mouth is. Like New York City pays more in federal tax dollars than it gets back by a long shot. Like 2-1 or even more than that. I have to look it up. I'll look it up later. But New York's paying more in taxes than they get back. A lot more in taxes than they get back. And therefore, that's why they need to keep the money rolling in, because it's the taxpayers paying the money, and we deserve to benefit from our tax dollars that we pay. All right, well, let me know what you think in the comments, like, subscribe, all that. And I hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday. All right, take care. Ciao, ciao.